Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And welcome to another revealing episode of Tiki's Universe. Because, Rick and Morty, Star Force of Evil, all that. I don't know, welcome to the Wayne, I guess. But DuckTales!
Woo!
I thought it was, I was hoping it'd be like Beetlejuice, where if I said it 3 times, Scrooge McDuck would, come into my house. I'm a dork, Dragon. That joke is lame, and I just called you Dragon again. How you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing all right.
I feel like singing a corny, sappy, Dawn Bluth, Somewhere Out There song to Dragon. Somewhere out there, Dragon's thinking of podcasting with Tiki. Anyways. Oh, God. Have I proven that I'm a dork yet, Jacob?
Probably. I don't know.
All right. Well, okay. So welcome, folks. We are going to be taking a look at The Great Dime Chase, which is, of course, the 3rd episode of DuckTales, the reboot. This is the 2nd episode that released today. We got kind of a good double header going into it. So that was great. The first episode was a lot of fun, good character development with Webby, a lot of really fun comedy with Donald and Beakley. This episode is a lot of plot, Jacob. We pick up back on the Della Duck storyline, and we really never stop. We really get the ball rolling. What I like the most about this episode is the world building of this episode, because this is the biggest look we've gotten inside of the operations of not just McDuck Manor and McDuck Enterprises, but specifically the operations going on at the Money Vault. And I really like the episode. It's kind of like a bottle episode in that way.
It's a bottle episode that has a lot of continuity going forward.
Sure. Of course, we mentioned this at the end of the last podcast, but Huey is just sitting this one out.
Yeah, he does. He's the funny thing. He's credited, but I don't think he even speaks in this episode.
Do we even see him?
I don't think so. I mean,
that's the thing. It's because Louie and Dewey both have subplots. Dewey's off with Webby and Louie's off with Scrooge, but we never see Huey.
I mean, it begins with Louie slacking off and drinking soda and watching Ottoman Empire, which is pretty funny.
Ottoman Empire seems like a show that would be on a Rick and Morty interdimensional cable.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I'm just saying.
and then, we're doing Ottoman Empire instead of interdimensional cable.
Oh God. I like how Ottoman Empire gives us a chance to see Flintheart again in a non-antagonistic sort of way.
Well, he's still kind of antagonistic, but towards those guys.
Yeah, but not towards our heroes.
Yes. And he's just sitting there exemplifying laziness.
You call that an Ottoman?
Dewey's just there exemplifying laziness. Mm-hmm. Dewey's looking for information about his mom, which even Webby doesn't have, and Huey doesn't even show up.
No, I don't know. Okay, so before we go much further, I think one of the big highlights of this episode is, in fact, the introduction of a big player in the original DuckTales, Mr. Gyro Gearloose.
Jim Rash is perfect here.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jim Rash for a second. This guy.
I'll be honest. Again, someone else I really don't know much about, but the way he plays it is perfect.
Well, let me read off some of this guy's credits because he's got a pretty vivid. He's got a pretty interesting line of work. He played a lead role on Community from 2009 to 2016. He also.
They have several community actors in this.
He also won an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay for the film The Descendants, which is actually my favorite film of the year it came out. So props to him for writing that movie. That's a freaking fantastic movie. Let's see. He also voices some bit parts in Disney shows. He was Stitches in Sky High, not Stitch, but Stitches. He played an MIT liaison in Captain America Civil War, and finally he is providing the voice of Gyro Gearloose here. So I like that range of career. You know what I mean? Like, he's written some stuff. He was in a lead sitcom. He's done some voice work. You know, really interesting career with this guy. I just found that kind of interesting. But, okay, so let's talk about Gyro, because this might be the biggest change so far from the original series to the new series, is the characterization of Gyro.
He was definitely more affable and absent-minded in the original series. Here's kind of more of an egotistical know-it-all. Which
I've got my theories, Jacob. I've got my theories.
Which I don't know which one's actually closer to the original comics, but either way, it's still an interesting take on him.
Wasn't Gyro an original character for the show? I thought he was.
No, Gyro was created by Carl Barks.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Huh. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, maybe. See, Carl Barks, first appearance, Gladstone's Terrible Secret in 1952.
All right. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Do you want, like, my theory kind of has to do with the ending of the episode, so do you want to just save that for then?
Yeah, let's just save that for our cliffhangers.
Okay, but in the meantime, let me just say that Gyro, like you said, he is very much more kind of egotistical, and that's how they're playing him up, instead of sort of the, the nervous egghead he was in the original show. And I'm not really sure how I feel about the characterization about him just yet. However, if my theory holds true, and we'll talk about my theory once we get into the ending, then I think this character is definitely someone to look out for, and possibly one of the main story arcs of season 1.
It will be pretty cool to see how he goes from here.
All right. I also liked how we got more on the board. Like, we saw more of the board's function in this episode.
And the fact that they're literally vultures.
Well, yeah, I mean, we already knew that from episode 1, but, I just like how
But it further emphasizes the fact that they are, in fact, literal vultures in every sense of the word.
Yes, for sure. Basically, they're, I find this idea fascinating, is that the vultures are basically, they're like Scrooge's money men. Like, these are the people that control the decisions that Scrooge himself isn't even comfortable controlling. I don't know, Jacob. I find that just to be a really interesting conceit, and I think it gives these guys sort of an air of mystery to them. I think there's more to be found out about the board.
Yeah, they're definitely, they could be an obstacle for all we know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, favorite gag? Definitely definitely Louie wanting to jump into the money pit.
Like, it took me years to build up the skill and the muscle and dexterity. Skull open. It's kind of funny that they both acknowledge its ridiculousness, but also like they had plausible reason for it in here, but also add to the real world implausibility of it. Plausible unplausibility.
I just love the idea that a young Scrooge McDuck was like, one day I'm going to swim in a pile of my own money, and I'm going to train how to swim. I'm going to shape my body to handle the metal.
and for something that happened in the last episode, he was really bathing in money.
Right, yeah. Wait a minute, something feels off here. Oh, that's better. Anyways.
David Tennant once again nails it as Scrooge here.
Okay, and of course we get Louie with the lucky dime. And this is one of my favorite cartoon tropes, right, Jacob? I just think this, like, whenever we see this in a cartoon, it always ends up working really well. And we got a similar episode to this with Welcome to the Wayne when we talked about that last night, with the episode where where Masterson was constantly getting a hold of the cards. And this is a very similar conceit here where Louie is, first of all, I love the mundane goofiness of Louie wants to get a soda, right?
Yeah.
And how much does the soda cost in the vending machine?
$1.10.
Yeah, $1.10. But Louie is just like, oh, wait, Uncle Scrooge showed me that dime. Yay, he's got a backup dime. Hooray!
Yeah. Yep, and then we go into the story about the number one dime. It's like, oh crap.
And we get like this like really, really interesting like art style and animation to go along with it.
Well, the backstory is actually like the canon backstory from like the life and times of.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's very, very, very appropriate to the comic. It's very faithful to the comic. Absolutely, I can attest to that. It's almost kind of like it's animated like the portrait of Scrooge. You know what I mean? It has that same kind of art style to it when we see the story.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives like a sense of like this is like real history right here in the show, at least.
So yeah, I love all the absurdity that goes on in the episode as we're chasing around the dime. And then, of course, we get a little bit of Rick and Morty-esque sci-fi with this light bulb robot that Gyro invents. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, Lil Bulb, he was great. It goes along with like Louie's idea of like doing anything. Like he'll do anything for you. Like, oh, that's perfect for a lazy guy like me.
Like a Sorcerer's Apprentice type situation, I thought.
Yep, instead of a broom, it's a walking light bulb that can do anything.
No, all right, you found the dime. You found the dime. You don't have to find every dime. Oh no, what have I done? I've created a monster. And of course, I love how Gyro has a literal list of his inventions that have gone evil and gone good.
Yeah, and he crosses off Little Bulb from the good and puts it on the evil side. It's like, yep, another one's gone bad. Like it's like this is like not news to him at all. Like he's like, here we go again.
Of course, some good payoff with the dime where I thought this was a little predictable, but it worked, you know, where Scrooge actually has his real lucky dime around his neck. Do you think I'm an idiot, boy? I wouldn't just leave it sitting out anywhere. By the way,
this place is full of lunatics.
For my Scottish accent.
This place is full of lunatics. Again, like I said, I agree. Apologies to David Tennant and every Scottish person out there for our terrible accents.
Okay, but so we've gone through the dime storyline, Jacob. Let's talk about.
I can just say, like, I really like how it like inadvertently taught Louis the value of hard work, like Scrooge was intending.
No, you're absolutely right. It is a very, very good lesson. I think it's. I actually think this is one of the best storylines we've seen thus far in the show. Like just standalone like arcs that we've had with two characters because you know we saw Dewey, and this is exactly what I thought we'd get. Right, like. We saw Dewey bonding with Scrooge in the second half of the premiere, and now we're seeing Louie bonding with Scrooge, and I'm sure we'll see a Huey Scrooge episode somewhere soon. And that's exactly how I thought they'd do it. It's just, you know, they're going to spread out the screen time between the nephews, and that's how they should do it. So props to them.
Oh yeah, I mean, and if the title screen is anything, that probably won't be the last we see of Little Bulb. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, he's pretty prominent in the opening sequence, so who knows?
Okay, so do you want to circle back around to the other storyline with Dewey and Webby?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, let's go ahead with that.
All right, so much like Welcome to the Wayne, there is a mysterious library.
The McDuck Archives.
Again, I like the world building that all of this crazy stuff is in the one iconic location of the Scrooge McDuck money vault. I really like that element of the episode.
Yeah, but it's like Scrooge. It's almost like Scrooge trying to hide it, like he doesn't want anybody to know, or like except for his family, it seems.
Okay, and then we're introduced to Emily Quackfaster, and this character actually has an interesting history, Jacob. She was actually Mrs. Featherby on the original DuckTales. She appeared in a few episodes. She was actually in the DuckTales movie in the library when they go to the library in that movie. She was in Dinosaur Ducks, Hero for Hire, Blue Collar Scrooge, Yuppie Ducks. So a couple episodes through the series. In the original series, and she's also a comic character. In the original series, she was portrayed as more kind of like an old lady type, Whereas here, I like how they updated her design. She's more of kind of like an eccentric, like middle-aged woman.
Yeah, he did say it's been for like 50 years.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I like this character, and I like how it's a much different take on someone we've already seen to the point where it's almost irrecognizable.
Yeah, it really was interesting.
Of course, I love how Webby is sort of like the the problem child of McDuck Manor, but then every time the nephews go by, it's like, oh well, welcome to the McDuck archives. They have to give like a grand introduction.
It's like oh, suddenly someone's here. Welcome, and yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess with Della Duck.
What?
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
But like, plus, like gives a sense of like gives more insights into how like sheltered Webby really is. Like, of course it's about you. It has your name on it. The Dewey Decimal System. It's like you know about libraries that you don't understand the concept of the Dewey Decimal System.
Exactly.
I mean, I know it's just a one-off gag, but still, it's just pretty notable and funny.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So, you want to discuss the revelations we get with Della Duck?
Yeah, let's go ahead with that. Like, we don't actually get much.
No, but we get some pretty pivotal, like a nice nugget of information, and that's how it should be. I mean, this is very much
like a framed note that says, "I stoked the spear of Selene. I'm sorry." Yeah. It's like this is like referencing what Don said. This is the spear of Selene all over again.
I like this a lot because very much in the same spirit of Gravity Falls, where Gravity Falls would basically just be like a drip of information each episode, you know what I mean? That would eventually culminate in something. So I think the thing with Della Duck is going to be handled in much the same way the mystery of who wrote the journal was handled in Gravity Falls, where I don't even know if we'll get a concrete answer in the season finale here. Like, we might, I don't know, but it could be something that they draw out until like the second half of season 2. You know what I mean? There's that much story potential there.
I mean, the whole plan for the arc is like to figure out why she disappeared and why Donald and Scrooge never speak to each other.
Exactly. And also, while we're at it, what happened to Huey, Dewey, and Louie's dad?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like I have no idea.
anyways.
I don't think their dad has ever been mentioned.
I know, right?
like anywhere. I don't know. It's always like they're always with always with Donald.
Their father is Darkwing Duck.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Or Launchpad.
No, I don't think their father would be Launchpad, because Launchpad's more of a pelican, technically.
I was just kidding here.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Launchpad, we haven't really seen much of him in these 2 episodes.
Like, he wasn't even in the previous episode.
He gets a couple lines here, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have really any use for him here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he shows up soon. Like, he doesn't have to be a prominent fixture in every episode, but he was so fun in the premiere. He was like such an obvious highlight in the premiere. So, of course, these 2 episodes are all about fleshing out the other personalities. So I guess everyone. And the thing with Launchpad is that Launchpad is pretty much like, he's a little different from what he was in the cartoon in terms of like the jobs he does for Scrooge. But really, besides his occupation, he's pretty much the same character. Whereas people like Beakley are, by and large, they're fundamentally shifted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do like the change in aspect of like his core character in the terms of that job he does for Scrooge. It's just like, instead of the pilot, he's like his personal chauffeur, basically.
All right. Anything else to talk about with this episode besides the cliffhanger?
Let's move on to the cliffhanger, because I can't think of anything else to mention.
Oh boy. Okay, so here's my crazy theory, Jacob. Of course, I think the obvious connotation for the cliffhanger is that, oh my god, we're getting Gizmo Duck!
Project Blatherskite.
Oh my god!
Yep.
Here's my crazy theory, though, Jacob.
It's not
Now,
that crazy. I mean, it has been confirmed that Gizmo Duck will be in this series.
Well, no, I mean, I know that part's not crazy. I know that, but hear me out. Hear me out. So I think the road that we're leaning down is Gizmo Duck being a villain when he's introduced.
That'd be pretty interesting, and how it all ties into Fenton Crackshell.
Right, exactly.
Voiced by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh God, I totally forgot about that.
Or Crackshell Cabrera, I should say.
I don't know. It's just really interesting because of because of what we get in the last episode, and at the end where Gyro is just very clearly fed up with the robots, and Gyro is also kind of like a
mad scientist here.
Yeah, exactly. And he seems to kind of not really be comfortable with his place in McDuck Enterprises, whereas one of his roles in the original show was he was sort of like Scrooge McDuck's lapdog in some ways.
I don't think he ever worked for McDuck Enterprises in the original series, did he? Or is he just like someone Scrooge went to? I thought.
No. But what I'm saying by lapdog is he's just someone that Scrooge McDuck could just walk all over, personality.
Oh yeah.
And this doesn't seem to be the case with this interpretation of the character.
No, and he's like robots are like Gyro is robot.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Jacob, as cool as the Della Duck thing is, that reveal just made me just literally be like, oh my god, Gyro Duck, yes.
Gizmo Duck was one of the cooler original aspects of the original series.
So can't wait to see where they go from there. Okay, next episode we get to seems pretty interesting because according to the credits, Webby is going to be the only main character. And then we're going to see a new character called Lena, who I guess is somehow associated with the Beagles. And it's going to be at Ma Beagle's birthday party. So interesting.
It's going to be next week.
That's going to be airing. Let's see. I think a week from now.
Next week.
Yeah, next week, next Saturday, and then after that, Jacob, we're going to kind of run into some scheduling conflicts because I'm going to be at Disneyland the week after that, so we'll have to maybe prolong it, but whatever, we'll figure it out. And of course, folks, we got plenty of other Tiki's Universe content coming on the way. There's 4 new episodes of Welcome to the Wayne that launched this week that we have to go and catch up on. Of course, we're talking about Rick and Morty every Monday with Blue Dragon 5. Very excited about that. The penultimate episode of the season is coming up this week. Of course, Big Hero 6 we'll be talking about once that drops. Still waiting on word from when Steven Universe is going to continue. But we'll see. But a lot on the plate for Tiki's Universe. Any final words, Jacob?
Nope, nothing for this series. I mean, I'm still looking forward to how this thing goes. I mean, it's proving to be quite the interesting take on the show so far.
All right. So, folks, thanks for joining us. And without further ado...
Woohoo!
Woohoo!